And we are live with another episode of the Sci-Fi Power Hour-ish. We didn't have one last week because, stuff happened, and I was on another podcast with Dr. Feelgood. So we're having one this week.
And I was at Universal Studios Hollywood with my family.
Yeah, he was out partying it up, living the life. How was decrepit, broken down Jurassic Park ride?
Yeah, that ride has seen better days.
Well, I mean, it's been years since they've upgraded it, and that's why I really like most of the animatronic rides I know are not that good anymore. Like even Pirates of the Caribbean in Disney World is just not that good. Like and It's a Small World After All. Like the only reason people like those is because they're iconic, but they aren't good in the classical sense of the term.
Did you know that It's a Small World was actually one of the rushed attractions from Disney that actually became iconic in itself?
Well, yeah, it's iconic, but it's not good. It's like Splashdown Mountain. Like people like Splashdown Mountain, but it's just you just go on a little log ride and then you go down out the tunnel and you splash down and you get a little wet. I mean, I'm like, there's better shit at other places. Like as a roller coaster type ride, it's not very exciting. I know people. Plus, I'm not a huge fan of
dark rides.
No. I'm not a big fan of the property it's based off of, Brer Rabbit. I don't like.
No, I mean like dark rides, like it's like rides and not non-thrilly rides with animatronics inside.
No, I have nothing against animatronics. Like I said, one of my favorite rides at Universal Studios was E.T. the Ride, where you go and it has animatronics. That doesn't really bother me. What bothers me is mostly because I'm a huge E.T. fan. Like I went on the King Kong ride before they. I went on the King Kong ride so many times back in the day. I went on the original King Kong ride, which was great, and that was animatronics. And then I went on the King Kong ride after they revamped it when they did the
simulation
reboot. Yeah, the reboot with Peter Jackson, that long ass that movie that was like 4 hours long. I know it wasn't really 4 hours long, but it felt like it.
That's every Peter Jackson film in a nutshell.
Well, I don't know about here. Let me take off my hat because I went outside and it was cold. I wouldn't say every Peter Jackson film is long, but that King Kong film was too goddamn long. It was like, okay, man, could you, Jesus, and the wrong actors. Like when someone said we're gonna have Peter Jackson remake King Kong, and literally he just remade the original film. Beat almost shot for shot, except for adding a few things that no one gave a shit about anyway. Like Jack Black, Adrian Brody. Like I've never thought, yeah. When I'm recasting, I'm gonna put Jack Black in this shit. Really? You're going with that? Okay. Like this is when you need someone there who's going to be like, "Hey, man, you sure you want to go with that? You sure you want to? You sure you want to do that? Seriously?" This is when doubt needs to creep in and be like, "Hey, you sure you want to do that, bro?" So yeah, but
let's move on to the main topic.
So the main topic is, of course, that Avengers Infinity War trailer, which was, I mean, I think we can all agree, off the chain.
That it was hype.
It was off the chain. It was like, damn. This movie. How's it going, Jewel? How's it going, Jewel?
Reboot my mind after reading some unusual topics.
Oh, we're gonna discuss about that in possibly tomorrow's BS Busters.
Yeah. We definitely will be busting some bullshit tomorrow. Today we're just doing science fiction TV. We were talking about that Avengers Infinity War trailer.
Oh, Thank you.
Yeah.
Because that thing some grins and rebooted my brain.
Well, I mean, the whole time I was watching it, I had a smile on my face. And I was thinking to myself, 10 years ago, they did Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr. And like, this is the culmination of years, you know.
What build up is for. This is what lore is for.
Yeah.
What DC should have beeping done with their movies. You beeping.
Well, since you started it out, I think I'll add in, tag me in. I'll jump into the dog pile. Yeah, I was like, this is what slowly, methodically building a universe is about, because then you get a payoff, right? And here's the payoff. I mean, you know, we're gonna get to see Iron Man get knocked the fuck out, which is great because, I mean,
hey, the guy
himself.
Yeah, Tony Stark needs an ass whooping. He needs an ass whooping. He just, you know, like
he just asks for it.
Well, I was listening to some of the voiceover of Tony's plan. He's like, well, we know what he wants, so let's let him come here. And I listened to.
And then Star-Lord calls him out.
Yeah, he's like, that is a good plan, but there's just one problem. It sucks. So why don't we go with my plan? and when I think about it, that is a shitty plan, because this is a dude, like, Thanos is called the Mad Titan. He essentially goes around destroying planets and civilizations and just killing tons and tons of people. Why would you just let that dude just come to your planet? Yeah. That's stupid. But I mean, this is Tony Stark. This is the guy who, you know,
drinks on the job. He comes up with things that blow up in his face.
Well, I mean, like, didn't build a failsafe in his Iron Man Mark 1 suit. Well, like prototype Iron Man Mark 1 suit, so that the technology would self-destruct so other people couldn't reverse engineer it in the first movie. Then at the end of the first movie, just tells the world, yeah, I'm Iron Man. In the second movie, taunts everybody that he's Iron Man. I mean, basically
he
what I'm saying.
For trouble.
The third movie, he friggin' creates his own arch enemy. I mean, basically what I'm saying is this. Tony Stark is literally the worst person to be the leader of the Avengers. Like, I wouldn't trust him. I wouldn't trust Tony Stark to unzip his own pants when he has to go pee. Much less be the leader of the Avengers.
Which is funny because both him and Captain America fight over who gets to be the leader of the Avengers.
Well, I mean, I'm going to keep it real. I mean, who would you trust? A dude who actually led people in combat raids and punched Nazis in the face, or a guy who's a chronic drunk and literally everything he touches gets fucked up because of him?
I trust the super soldier.
I don't know, man. It's a tough choice. Captain America or the chronic drunk? I don't know, man. It's tough.
I was about to say, Captain America, I would say, would be the leader, but who would be his second command?
Thor. Well, here's the thing. The Avengers team is always jumping from point A to point B. There's always new people in the Avengers. So it's like, but the core, the founding team was Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, the Incredible Hulk,
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I want to say Vision, but Vision was later. Like, Vision came like maybe 5 issues in.
Maybe Hawkeye and Black Widow?
No. Hawkeye and Black Widow didn't come in until later on, like way later. Now, the original Avengers team was those. Yes, the Hulk is an original member of the Avengers. And then they ran him off because they were like, you destroy shit all the time. He's like, I'm the Hulk. That's what I do. I smash.
What do you expect? He's muscle.
Yeah, he's the Hulk. So basically, yeah, that trailer was fire. But now to get to shitting on DC, 10 years of setting up a universe and building things up. I mean, literally, this movie could be okay and it would still be pretty damn good. All right? That's the power of having a solid foundation, which Marvel built brick by brick, piece by piece.
What does DC offer us?
Just some shit thrown together to compete. Which, speaking of some shit thrown together to compete, this is a nice segue. I'm going to skip over the second topic because this one just segues nicely to the third one, and we'll move the second topic to the end. Speaking of shit that's been just thrown together to compete, well, we all know that Black Panther at this point has made 1.2 billion worldwide. Basically, in February and March, Black Panther made all the money.
So much so that Disney is already there's already rumors that Disney may be trying to implement Black Panther into one of their Disney parks.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So the problem with this rumor is that because the negotiations with Universal's contract with using Marvel properties in their theme parks, because Black Panther is also used in their Marvel merchandise at Universal's Islands of Adventure.
Well, here's what I think. I think that Disney and Universal can work that shit out. Because here's the thing. At this point, you just want the brand to be strong. And as long as Disney gets their cut, it doesn't matter. Like some people are like, well, okay, let me put it this way. Considering that Disney and Sony made a deal, Marvel and Sony made a deal to share Spider-Man, there's no doubt in my mind that Marvel and Universal could make a deal to do a solo Hulk movie, but where Marvel has more creative control, so the shit would be done right.
Yeah, because the contracts, according to the contract, the Marvel properties that no other theme park in Florida would ever were allowed to use in those theme parks are the Avengers, Spider-Man, X-Men, and the Fantastic Four.
Like I said, yeah, because they
the
have
last one. I have to wonder.
Well, they have like Superhero Island and the Islands of Adventure in Florida, and like on Superhero Island they have all Marvel shit, like the Hulk, Spider-Man, the Avengers, Captain America. So I mean, here's the thing: as long as Disney gets their cut, I don't care. Like I just want to see the brand be strong and not be tanked into the ground. Speaking of tanking a brand to the ground, I was talking about Black Panther, directed by Ryan Coogler, and like almost every black actor in Hollywood was in that movie. If you were a black actor and you couldn't be in Black Panther, it's your damn fault. You did something wrong. You must have been in a Medea movie or some other stupid ass shit like Soul Plane. But yes, I said Soul Plane is stupid ass shit. Sue me. Sorry, Kevin Hart. But anyway, yeah, so basically Ryan Coogler with a heavily black cast, like the only two white people in that film, the only two white people of name in that film were Golem, aka Andy Serkis. I'm always just gonna call him Golem because fuck Andy Serkis. I don't really like him that much anyway. And Martin Freeman. Those are the only two white people in the whole damn movie. Okay, and at the very end, Bucky Barnes, but he's a stinger. He's at the very end. Like you could miss him. Okay. Basically, what I'm saying is that it's mostly black people in the film, and I loved it. And it was directed by a black actor. So what does WB do? Because they see, oh shit, Black Panther made a lot of money. We're gonna get Ava DuVernay, a noted black female director, to direct a movie about characters that no one knows shit about. The New Gods.
Who are the heroes from the New Gods?
Well, there are no heroes. Well, I mean, not really. The New Gods are basically, you know of one New God, Darkseid.
Oh yes.
Yes, Darkseid is a New God. Orion, Darkseid's son, also a New God. Allfather, a New God. Caliban.
I've heard about those guys before. They're Jack Kirby's creations.
Yeah, Caliban, Allfather's son, who was switched with Orion when they had their peace treaty between New Genesis and Darkseid, Apocalypse. Basically, yeah, those two dudes are essentially those are all like all those people are like new gods. What's his name? Steppenwolf. He's a new god. They're new gods. Granny Goodness, new god. So yeah, I mean, like here's the thing. I know who the new gods are because I read some of those comics and I watched the TV series. Joe Blow average consumer does not know who the fuck the new gods are. So why are you getting like WBY? Why?
Yeah, looks like it's going to be part of the DCEU universe.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a DCEU after this year. That shit's going to be gone. They're going to sell that shit off and call it a day. And I can't get mad at them.
And I've also heard that if the AT&T Time Warner deal falls over, the DC properties will be spread across other companies. Like with Marvel.
You know, this is what happens when you don't do shit right and just throw shit out the window and hoping it'll stick. This is what happens. I can't, bad business acumen. Jewel, your thoughts?
I'm not sure if I want to be reading about all the time. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, if they made this movie, and let's be clear, it probably will be canceled. I mean, because let's really think about this, okay? DC can't even make a good Superman movie. Okay,
they can make a movie featuring all villains.
No, let's think about this, okay? They can't make a good Superman movie. They can't make a good Batman v Superman movie. They can't make a good Justice League movie. They can't make a good Green Lantern movie. All and Superman and the New Gods are very interconnected, and the Green Lantern Corps are very interconnected because all of it has to do with going out in space and fighting shit. Like Superman has had tons of you could say one of Superman's greatest nemesis aside from Lex Luthor and Brainiac is Darkseid. And he's a new god. So if you can't make good movies about those characters, how the hell are you going to make a good movie about characters that no one, and those are people know who Superman is, people know who Batman is, people kind of know who Aquaman is, who Wonder Woman is, they know who they know those characters, the Flash. Joe Blow average consumer doesn't know who the hell the new gods are. So if they can't get that shit right with known characters, I don't know how they're gonna work that with unknown characters like the new gods.
Can the same be said with Suicide Squad?
Well, was that a good movie?
No.
I mean, really? Was that a good movie?
No.
That's right.
Yeah, that movie was garbage too. So I mean,
for a second villains only movie.
Just secondary villains with Joker being pushed out of the wayside.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you can't do something simple like that, then I mean, why hold out hope for, a New Gods movie? I'm just saying, I don't mean to be a dick about it, but I'm just using logic and common sense. I mean,
I was about to say, the record precedes them, and with how Suicide Squad, that makes me wonder if they're even ready for gods.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just saying, Personally, I think the only reason they got Ava DuVernay is because they saw how well Black Panther did, and they were like, shit, Black people will come out and support a Black director. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a movie with Ava DuVernay because she has name recognition. And Black people will go and spend their money on it. Which obviously didn't work with Wrinkle in Time. I think I was one of the few people who went to go see that shit.
Yeah, that movie flopped. Like, critically flopped.
You know, I think it might barely make its money. It might do well in China because the Chinese like really, really pretty shit with no substance.
And there was this one article I read about this one critic complained about the inconsistencies with the characters' ethnicities, like how the brother is Hispanic while his sister and mother are all Black while his father is white. It should be an implication that he's adopted, but it doesn't. But there are no implications of that in both the books nor the film itself.
So let me get this straight. That was that guy's problem with that movie. Of all the shit that's wrong with The Wrinkle in Time,
I have the link to the article if you could read it yourself.
I mean, that kid was actually pretty funny though. I mean, he was one of the few bright spots, like especially early on in the movie where he like gets pissed because someone says some shit behind his back. He's like wagging his finger, like, "How dare you say that?" Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I liked it.
What kind of standards are you having again?
Look, here's the thing you have to understand, okay? When a movie really sucks, you have to find whatever the hell you can find that makes it worth watching for you, okay? Like, you can't be picky. Can't be like, well,
I was going to say,
can't be like
you have to remember the overall picture is what makes the movie a thing or a bad thing.
Think of it like this, right? Superman Returns by Bryan Singer is not a good movie. But you can't say that Brandon Routh is a terrible Superman. Because he isn't. Of the few good things about that film, he's actually a really good Superman. Like, you're like, wow, he actually got Superman right.
Yeah, the only complaint is that he's too young to play Superman compared to Christopher Reeve.
For that, I mean, it depends on which version. For the point in his life of Superman he was playing, yeah, he was too young. If they had just made him a little bit younger, it would have been like, oh, well, he's just like, you know, he's a younger Superman. Because Superman Returns was supposed to be like, this is Superman after a lot of his adventures, like 10 years after he's been Superman in Metropolis, or 10 or 15 years or something like that. Like, you know, he should have been an older Superman.
Right.
Which I would have been cool with an older Superman. That doesn't bother me. I'm not one of those people. How dare you have an older Superman? Superman needs to be, you know, young forever. Even though Superman does not age like other beings because he's Superman. Yeah, like when he's in his 80s, he looks like he's like in his well-preserved 50s, like really in shape 50s. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, man. I hope when I get old, I look like that. God damn it. But yeah, like, I mean, you know, of all the issues with that film, I mean, just to keep it absolutely real, I don't think that, you know, I don't think that's one of them, you know?
Yeah. He was just doing his job as Superman.
No, I was talking about Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of things. There are many things wrong with A Wrinkle in Time, and
the identities is not one of them.
The identity of these kids is not one of them. Like the oh shit, and it's from the Federalist.
Is it an untrustworthy source?
The Federalist is a ultra-conservative right-wing website / newspaper.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, that's it's a little
Yeah.
They're like they're like a more credible Fox News of newspapers. Like they're not really.
Yeah, they're not really as credible.
They're not, you know, like when I heard like it's like, really, that's your issue, is that it's got a Hispanic kid. I mean, there's some things like, okay, the pacing, but here's the thing: A Wrinkle in Time is really hard to make a movie about because it's like one of those films where everyone's going to have their own mental interpretation of what's going on. It's kind of like The Never-Ending Story.
Yeah.
Like The Never-Ending Story has its own, like you're never going to get what you think certain characters should look like because you have your own mentality of what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because these books have no pictures, so it's hard to determine what their actual ethnicities, what the characters' actual ethnicities are.
Well, I mean, there are there are descriptions of what the characters look like, but sometimes the movie adaptation is better than what they have in the book. Like Falcor the Luck Dragon in Never-Ending Story. So he looks. I mean, you know, in the book, he's like, he's got like a lion's mane, and like he looks a little bit different. Like he looks like a Japanese dragon, like a Chinese, Japanese, Asian dragon. But in, you know.
Yeah, and how Aladdin was originally Asian in the original story, but then he made him Arab. But then Disney made him Arabic.
Well, no, in the original story, he's Arabic, because Aladdin is one of the tales in
the 1001.
Yeah, 1001 stories. Yeah, he's Arabic. They're almost all of them are like Arabic. Although technically speaking, I mean, depending on how you want to look at the Middle East, you could say technically some of those people are also Asian. You know,
right?
Technically, I mean, technically, I guess you could, but yeah, I get where you're coming from. Like everyone's gonna have their own interpretation of these characters, and that's just the way it is. No need to hate.
True. Just so long as the story is good.
Yeah, but
some things are hard to ignore.
Yeah, it's just that the whole controversy with the whole Wrinkle of Time is being blown out of proportions from the YouTube community from the usual right-wing suspects.
Like I said, there are problems with The Wrinkle in Time, but if that kid is like, man, that kid needs to be mixed. He needs to be a quadroon, octoroon, half-roon mulatto. Like, really? That's your problem with this movie? It would have been really good if that kid had been a mulatto. Really? That's the.
They are on that point.
So anyway, is there anything else we want to trash? New Gods?
Well, let's just move on to the second topic, which is something near and dear to my heart, which is old school TV shows. Go. Pardon me.
I'm currently thinking Land of the Lost. I remember seeing a few episodes of that old show from 70s, or was it 60s?
What old show was it?
Oh, Land of the Lost.
That was 80s. I mean, that was 90s actually. That was a 90s TV show. It just looked kind of dated for its time because it was meant to be kind of campy.
I see.
Yeah. I just like the theme song from that show back in the day. I thought it was kind of fun. Land of the Lost.
Any other sci-fi TV shows?
Legends of the Hidden Temple. Anyone remember that?
Isn't that from Nickelodeon?
Yeah, but it was a sci-fi kind of TV show. These kids find a temple with a big head talking to them and junk.
Not. Mhm.
Oh, and I just remembered something more obscure: the Josie and the Pussycats in Outer Space.
I don't remember that one.
I do. It's
Same
basically
here.
a spin-off of Josie and the Pussycats.
That's weird, man. How about Fantastic Max?
Fantastic Max.
Fantastic Max.
I remember Mighty Max.
Oh.
No. Fantastic Max was this TV show where basically there was this baby who, like, when his parents would put him to sleep, he wouldn't go to sleep. He would basically like, he had this toy in his crib.
Oh yes, I remember that.
And he'd turn into like an astronaut, and he'd go into space and go on these adventures and stuff. But the cool thing was that, like, the members of his crew looked like
toys.
The toys in his crib. So you didn't know if he really was a superhero or if he was just
and one of them looks
dreaming.
And one of them looks like a space version of Piglet from Winnie
yeah. And it had a really cool theme song where the chorus line was Fantastic Max. I remember Mighty Max, the TV show. That show got astonishingly dark.
And thank you for reminding me of that too.
Yeah,
because that was one of the the TV shows I had in mind, but I forgot the name of it.
Yeah. Fantastic Max was one of my favorites back in the day. I really did like that show back in the day.
And I also remember a space version of Speed Racers. I think it was called the Space Race.
Yeah, I think I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, but I never watched that show. I'll tell you what I remember back in the day. The old Incredible Hulk cartoon, not the really old one from Hanna-Barbera, the one that had Neil McDonough, who played M. Bison in that shitty Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li movie. He did the voice for the animated version of Bruce Banner, and like, he really, like, I think Fred Tatasciore did the Hulk voice, but he did the Incredible Hulk. He did the Banner voice, and it was actually a pretty good show. I mean, in the third season, they kind of changed how the Hulk looked because, like, they were like, here's the thing: if you had an animated series that was really good, by the third season they would get cheap because the toys weren't selling enough, and so they would go and have the animation done in some third world country where they got it done really cheap, and you could tell because it looked ridiculous.
Yeah, I've seen that happen with Captain N when it went on its third season.
Yeah, Captain N, the X-Men, the Incredible Hulk, Iron Man. The only show that maintained pretty much the same level of quality animation-wise throughout the entire thing was the Fantastic Four, the new one that came out in the 90s, and Spider-Man, Fox's Spider-Man. That pretty much maintained a certain level of quality throughout all of it, which was fucking amazing. The Incredible Hulk will smash you to death.
And I wouldn't put it past him to do it.
Was there ever a TV show of Yogi Bear in space?
Probably. Hanna-Barbera used to pimp out their stuff all the time. I'll be right back. I got to go take care of something real quick. You guys continue with this topic.
That brings me into the topic that I bit weirdly, which would be the Laugh Olympics.
Oh, but that thing wasn't sci-fi though, was it?
Huh?
That show wasn't sci-fi related. It was because
I'm saying that they got pretty out there with how they did some of the shows mix-ups with that one, and if I remember right, there were some characters that were space feature characters in them too.
Yeah, it's basically Mario.
I'm just trying to
games, but with Hanna-Barbera characters.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who else they had, and I'm not in the obvious of the Jetsons and the like.
Yeah, I don't remember the Flintstones nor the Jetsons appearing in that series.
So it's weird that a crossover movie.
Yeah.
That was all sorts of WTF.
Not to mention the Jetsons had their own movie, one that's animated.
Yeah. Though, if anything, the one time Jetson had his own place and could run it, something had to go south, and he jumped somebody else when it ended. He could basically grounds of Spacely, and he gave it up.
Any other TV show you have in mind?
Think. Trying to keep in touch with the sci-fi part.
Oh, I also remember that Star Wars had its own animated shows back in the 80s. One involving R2-D2 and C-3PO, and the other involving Ewoks.
That's funny because the Star Wars I remember are mostly about between episodes 1 and 2, or episodes 3 and 4. I'm not sure which.
You mean the Clone Wars?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are those Star Wars shows are pretty good.
Yeah, but I think some of the newer Star Wars shows, so they leave you wanting to have some more pace.
But fans also enjoyed Rebels, even after season 2.
Yeah, I was just saying that Rebels left a good taste in my mouth.
Especially how it finally how it's ending left open for a possible new series.
That probably would work.
Even if it means getting to see Grand Admiral Thrawn again. If he lives, of course.
If you're trying to link movies together, you probably would guess how it would go already.
Yeah. So I suspect it's gonna be. It won't. So I suspect it won't be. It won't completely affect what happens between episodes 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm. But this also brings up something that we wonder: how come nobody asked this in the first place?
And that is
our Star Wars merchandises when you try to look them over and they come up in like the cartoons of the past, linking up to the entire Star Wars series. That's what got me thinking a bit.
No idea.
Because as far as I know, the first tie-in with Star Wars that links so deeply into the movies would be Clone Wars. If I remember right, the prequel trilogy was the one that hated throughout history.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think the Bionicle? Do you think Bionicle would count for the TV show? I mean, I only remember the straight direct-to-video movies.
To be honest with you, I would say this would be a world sci-fi, but it can count. I'm not sure how likely it will be counted, but it can.
Because I'm still trying to think of what other sci-fi TV shows I remember watching. Oh yeah, does Max Steel count? And I'm talking about the original, not the reboot.
I wish I knew of the original Max Steel, but at least clearing that up because I had bad memories of the new version.
Yeah, especially the live action movie, which was so bad, it's horrible. I almost completely forgot it existed.
Ooh. Thank you for reminding me of more trash.
You're welcome. I guess we could also talk about Beast Wars Transformers.
Transformers?
Yeah, of course, the Beast Wars version, of course, and its sequel, Beast Machines.
Can you hold on?
All right.
Hello?
What? Did you fix your mic?
You were ready to talk.
Oh yeah.
I was.
Oh yeah. I was ready. I was ready to talk about Beast Wars and its sequel, Beast Machines. I certainly remember watching it growing up on TV.
Yeah, I remember Beast Wars myself. It was cushy when you're having dinosaurs versus beeping animals.
And not to mention that it had the best version of Megatron in terms of ambition. Where he
That is some of those are the pretty beastly things, though. If anything, I remember I also got some of the darkest moments in
yeah,
Transformers.
yeah, because the Maximals and the Predacons are descended from the Autobots and Decepticons, and they're much smaller than them in comparison.
Yeah,
Though they're still much larger than the human characters, who at that time are still primates, primitive, still in their primitive forms. Of course, obviously, Dinobot and Beast Wars Megatron are using outdated models of the T-Rex and Raptor, since feathers.
of course. Where's the feather guns?
And of course, they also brought Scorponok in the Bayformers movies, as well as bringing back Waspinator and Black Arachnia in Transformers Animated, since those two were the fan favorites.
Yeah, that is pretty. Those were fan favorites, I recall, right?
Right. Especially when Black Arachnia made a heel face turn to side with the Maximals.
That probably is one of the what I remembered in that series, but also I'm not sure how long that as far as alliances go.
All right, I still have the complete series on Blu-ray, so I can rewatch it.
You lucky. So I agree. We could all agree that Transformers had great series as far as television series compared to some of the movies.
Yeah, thank goodness that they're rebooting it after the Bayformers has ended.
Thanks, stars. Now, how many?
Though the ride based on the Bayformers movies wasn't too bad, even though it was a clone of the Spider-Man ride at Florida.
Hey, now how many movies does Michael Bay have in his pocket left?
There are only 5 Transformers movies under his belt.
They're still under his control as far as franchises go, because Transformers ended.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we don't get another TMNT.
Speaking of TMNT, did you hear about the backlash about the redesigns of the Turtles?
Redesigns? I thought it was hearing about Raph being that was the big shakeup.
Well, they revealed the designs for the new Turtles, and not everyone liked it. Especially how they replaced some of the weapons, some of their main weapons with different ones. Like Michelangelo, instead of nunchucks, it's that weapon he later used in the original '80s show.
You mean the chain and hook?
Yep. And for Raph, instead of his traditional, I forgot the
fuzz.
Yeah, those. Instead, he uses batons, dual batons.
Yeah, I call them Top Fuzz because if anything, those were and Soul Calibur. And I'm actually surprised I went from ninjas to Soul Calibur heroes with that one.
Of course, I recently watched Gaijin Guba's video about the backlash, and he mentioning how those weapons actually have their roots in the original comics, as well as being rooted to ninja history.
Yeah. Funny was the only one of the intelligent YouTubers that can actually tolerate.
Except when it comes to Mario or Hatsumiku.
I could tolerate. That's the thing. I can even tolerate his Mario since he's going at it by a Japanese sense.
I still remember his video about his whole problem with Mario video. And his problem.
I don't watch that.
And his video regarding his hatred towards Hatsumiku and other moe idols.
If anything, such a thing as too much moe as far as I could tell, but at least I could get his. And I'm glad I never watched his Mario thing. I'm not sure how it is.
All right.
But let's try to see if we get back to
The
Avengers.
sci-fi TV shows. Since we only got 10 minutes until this podcast finishes.
Well, at least until further notice.
Yeah. See, you've got any other sci-fi TV shows that you remember watching from back in the day?
As far as weird sci-fi goes, the China with Hot Wheels.
I barely remember Hot Wheels having its own TV show.
It did. It was shitty. It had cool music, and that's it. Like they had one that was like a normal cartoon, and then they had one that was CGI. Did you guys talk about Reboot?
I was saying.
Thanks for reminding us.
I was go there because that brings so many feels.
Like here's the thing. I recently found my Reboot DVD collection, and I uploaded. I ripped all of my DVDs and I put them on a SD drive that I had. Solid state drive that I had. And like I was watching Reboot, and even though the CGI is kind of shitty by today's standards, the writing and comedy and computer jokes.
Yeah, we were talking about the Beast Wars series, which was from the creators of the Reboot show.
Well, the same studio, not the same creative studio. Like the same CGI studio did Beast Wars that did Reboot. But I mean, the writing and the characters and the
pop.
Yeah, I mean, like you can still go back and watch that and still be like, wow, this is awesome. Like when Dinobot sacrifices himself to save a village of proto-humans, or Cheetor turns into a trans metal, or Optimus Primal dies and they bring him back and he transforms again, and then it had an engrossing story, which is a shame because that sequel Beast Machine sucked.
Yeah, not to mention it had the best version of Megatron in terms of motivation and ambition.
What, Beast Machines or
Beast Wars?
Yeah, Beast Wars made sense because his whole thing was he was going to end the original Transformers Energon Wars before they started by taking out Optimus Prime. The problem with that is, but it was also nonsensical because if you took out Optimus Prime, that means there would never be a need for Predacons either. It's like, dude, you're an idiot. You're not a very smart villain. You really aren't. You're kind of a moron, actually. Not very bright. Not a bright villain.
True, because the Maxwells and the Predacons were formed after the Autobots and the Decepticons.
Well, the descendants of the Autobots and the Decepticons. If the Decepticons won, there would have never been a Gen 2, Gen 3, gens down to Predacons for the Predacons. So it's like he wanted to destroy him. Like he hated the Maximal so much, that was dumb. That was just a dumb move, bro. That was a dumb move, dude.
I consider it hatred that's so ingrained in bloodlines that it's an intelligence system.
Yeah. And then they did Beast Machines, which, as I said, sucked.
Yeah.
Beast Machines was just really bad. Really bad.
A lot of the well-known characters had their personalities changed.
Well, not so much of that. It was just Beast Machines was stupid. Like you could cartoons back in the day were designed to sell you toys, and that's cool. But like you could tell Beast Machines was entirely built around fucking selling you these toys. Like so much so that the storyline was nonsensical.
I was gonna some of the storyline that just makes you say, why?
Well, they basically destroyed all the character developments and plot development from the first Beast Wars, and then they basically wrecked all that shit in Beast Machines, which was just wrong. Just wrong. Kind of like how Michael Bay did with the Transformers franchise.
Thank goodness that's over.
Thank goodness that's it might be over because Paramount might go out of business and then it's really going to be over. Beast Wars, and of course my favorite old school TV show from when I was a kid, way before you were born, Pinky. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Turtles.
We were also
Here's the half shell.
we were just Noel and I were just talking about the newest show for TMNT.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, fuck that show.
I was gonna say
they even messed up the core
until the show airs before.
No, they're already messing up.
I was gonna say that as far as like they got a lot to conquer if they're going us now.
They're already messing up because in the new show, Raphael is the leader. He's a snapping turtle, and they're all different types of turtles. They're not all red slider turtles, which is the first mess up. They're not
brothers in that sense.
Yeah, that's the first mess up. They're not all red slider turtles. Number two, Raphael is the leader. You're wrong. You're already messing up. Look, Leonardo leads. Donatello does machines. Raphael is cool but crude.
And Michelangelo is a party dude.
And Michelangelo, he's a party dude. That's it. That's all you need to know. Like, why are you trying to change? I know what this is. They're trying to reintroduce the turtles for a younger generation. Forgetting
that seriously,
kids aren't buying toys.
The dynamic. You're killing the dynamic, the style of the turtles, and you're killing their brotherly toys.
Well, the thing is that they want to sell toys, but kids aren't buying toys these days. Kids, why do you think Star Wars isn't as profitable as it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago? Because people aren't buying toys like they used to. Because the people who buy toys are people in my age group who have money and want to get in touch with nostalgia. And we don't care about people fucking with our nostalgia. We don't like that. We don't buy the shit. You know, like, trust me, if you go to a Toys R Us while it's still in business and go to the toy section for the Kylo Ren and Rey and Finn and Captain Phasma action figures, there's piles of them shit sitting in the clearance section. Okay? Because no one cares about those characters.
Right.
No one gives a shit. No one cares. You want to know the Star Wars figures that people care about? Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Leia Organa to an extent, Admiral Akbar, Lando Calrissian, Darth Vader, obviously.
I'm gonna have to call you out on
some random stormtroopers just for sword fodder you can kill. Random rebel trooper because you need someone that Darth Vader can force choke to death. No one gives a shit about Rey or Kylo Ren or Phasma or.
There's a YouTuber named World Class who makes this argument how Star Wars is dead because of the lack of sales and toys.
Well, it's not as profitable as Disney thought it was going to be, which is why the person who's really laughing the hardest right now is George Lucas, because he knew it wasn't as profitable as it used to be, and he said, "Fuck you guys, I'm taking the money and running." And I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit. Lucky. I'll tell you something.
Moving back to TMNT, at least the upcoming show is going to be is not as bad as the Korean TMNT ripoff, which used the TMNT alien origins way before Michael Bay suggested it.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. Yeah. I'm gonna since we're talking TMNT, I'm gonna tell you the best TMNT series. Obviously, to me, the first one is the best. The one from back in the day. You know what I'm talking about. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
But it hasn't aged well.
No, man. To hell with you. Season 1 of that is still watchable. Season 2, after season 1, the quality starts to go down because they make the turtles less violent. and then it's just all puns and no actual violence on Bebop, Shredder, or Rocksteady. But season 1 is still kind of holds up. Season 2, it gets a lot less violent, but you get some truly horrifying things, like when Baxter Stockman turns into the Fly. Oh, that's horrific. It's literally horrific. It's like, Jesus, this is a kid's show? He turns into a fly and then goes around trying to kill people. It's great. This is for kids, folks. This is for kids. This was for kids to sell toys. No dick jokes about Bebop and Rocksteady. It was great. It was really great. Wow,
I think we reached the hour limit.
It got kind of quiet there. It got really kind of quiet there for a second. Yeah, so we've reached the end. Anyone have anything else they want to bring up before we wrap things up?
Saving it for tomorrow's BS Busters.
Okay, then. So I guess I'll pimp out tomorrow's BS Busters. Tomorrow we will be doing, well, BS Busters. We were off for a week because shit happens, and it's kind of tough. But tomorrow we'll be doing BS Busters. We will be talking about people who are obsessed with banging fictitious characters. I have no idea why. Or wanting to know about their body parts. Once again, no idea why. We'll also go over the sad news of Toys R Us going out of business. Which I will admit, when I first heard about it, I didn't really care. But then I remembered all the cool shit I bought at clearance at Toys R Us. Like how I got like 8-10 games from Toys R Us, like N64 cartridges for buy one, get one frees when they were clearing out their stock. And I was just remembering the good times at Toys R Us. My parents getting a cart full of toys, putting them on layaway. Well, my mom putting them on layaway. And then 6 months later, Christmas would come and I'd have all those fucking toys under the tree. So yeah, we'll be talking about Toys R Us and other topics of the week. EA bringing back microtransactions because it's EA. And that's it. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Anything you want to bring up, Jewel?
I'm just gonna be glad to not have a 404 in my brain for a while.
Okay.
Have a happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
Yeah, if you're at home, get drunk, pass out, as long as you don't puke and aspirate.
And be
fine.
sure
be sure
to have some green on you. There's those people that pinch on you.
Yeah, and if you see a really, really short person with red hair and a beard, don't pick them up and ask them to show you where the gold is. It's probably a midget or a dwarf or a little person, and they will kick your ass. So don't do it. What?
What about some Lucky Charms?
Don't ask them about Lucky Charms either, because they'll still kick your ass. So yeah, good night. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and peace.
And beware of the juice.